good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coast. I am here, and Pags is out doing a polar plunge for the Special Olympics, so we wish him luck on his polar plunge this morning, obviously for a great cause. McLovin will naturally be here at the top of the hour, but just going to be me this morning. And then, again, we will be linked up with McLovin at the middle of the show. But we are going to start with some of the awards that came out last night. Some of these we will end up talking about with McLovin when he gets here as well. But we'll start it off with Coach of the Year. And this one was a little bit of a surprise to me. Kevin Stefanski ends up getting that top spot. And I really thought it was going to be D'Amico. Now, not to say that Stefanski didn't earn this thing. He ended up not only getting into the playoffs this year, ended up with an 11-6 record. And, that was with starting 5 different quarterbacks this season. So it's not that it didn't have its share of challenges. Obviously, that defense was amazing, but the offense definitely left something to be desired. Starting 5 different quarterbacks and still making the playoffs is admittedly very impressive. So it's not that he didn't earn that position. Just in my mind, I thought it was either going to be D'Amico Ryans or Dan Campbell, right? Dan Campbell has been building that program over the last couple of years. He's cultivated an amazing culture there. And, he basically had that team exactly where they needed to go. And even when they ended up losing in the playoffs, they lost exactly how he coaches. So you couldn't really be mad at how that came about. They just had some of the plays that had worked for him during the season not come together at the end. And then, of course, D'Amico, rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, rookie, main piece of your defense, players of which we're actually going to talk about when we get into some of the rest of the awards. So I really thought one of those two would be ahead of Stefanski. But again, not to take anything away from him, the Browns had a great year. And, if they had some consistency at that quarterback position, I think they probably could have went somewhere. Obviously, Flacco comes in towards the end, has a great few games when he was with them. Obviously, he ends up winning an award. We'll talk about that here in a little while. But, it was a well-deserved win, but I really thought D'Amico was probably going to get that one. So then we'll walk over here to the Offensive Player of the Year. And there's been a lot of debate here on whether or not CMC should have been the MVP, not just the Offensive Player of the Year. And I've been on a bunch of shows and said the exact same thing. The MVP is really the MVQB, right? That is a QB award. The odds of anyone not a QB winning it moving forward is probably pretty low. So I'm going to go with this is as good of a award. This is as close to an MVP as any position player is probably going to get. And so CMC pulls this off, right? Running back for the Niners, averaging 126.4 yards per game, which is impressive. He gets selected to the Pro Bowl. He's a first-team All-Pro this year, 21 touchdowns, 1,459 yards, and rush yards, I should say, 114 first downs by him, 44 runs over 10 yards. He went on to tie Marshall Falk, with 15 games with both a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown in the same game. And that's tied for most all time, and became the 3rd player to have 2,000 scrimmage yards in a season for 2 different franchises. So, I mean, an impressive year, was dominant in everything he did. Obviously, he was able to stay healthy, which was, a little bit of the concern coming to San Francisco. So, I mean, amazing year for him. Definitely earned the Offensive Player of the Year. Debatably could have been the MVP of the league if the MVP wasn't so geared for quarterbacks, especially when you look at the impact that he's made for this team. Could he have beat Lamar for that? I think he honestly probably could have. But again, we will get to the award here in a little bit as well. We're gonna jump over to Defensive Player of the Year. This is another one where I thought maybe a different guy could have won this one. Myles Garrett goes away with the victory here. His first time claiming this award. He's been in the conversation for a number of years, so good to see him get over the hump, obviously. But I really thought T.J. Watt probably earned that award. That being said, you can't go wrong with Myles Garrett here. He was seventh overall in sacks with 14, so that's a little bit lower than you would expect. But the Browns led the league in defensive efficiency, and of course, he was the centerpiece of that. Allowing only 267 yards per game, 3-and-out rate of 32.9%. So they led the league in both of those categories. Second in pass rush win rate at 30.5%. And he was also facing the third highest double team rate. So he was getting home despite the fact that he was one of the more double teamed players in the league. So you have to appreciate what it is Myles Garrett was able to do. Again, I thought TJ Watt had a real shot at winning that award. But that being said, I don't feel bad that Myles Garrett won it. He had an incredible season as well. So, I mean, obviously, either one of those guys would have been a good fit for that award last night. All right. So then offensive rookie of the year, CJ Stroud obviously takes that down. I don't think there was any debate of who the offensive rookie of the year was going to be. CJ Stroud absolutely came in and balled out, played at an exceptionally high level, putting up 4,100, just over 4,100 yards. And that was only in 15 games. So he did get hurt and miss a couple of games. He would have set, for all intents and purposes, he would have set the rookie single season passing yardage record, because he ended up finishing third despite missing 2 games, only behind Andrew Luck and Justin Herbert. So, you know, man, excuse me. All right. And then he did end up setting a couple of records this season. His 470 yards week 9 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was the most by a rookie. His playoff win makes him the youngest rookie to win a playoff game. And he overtook, I believe it was Mike Vick for that award, or for that spot. Also makes him the first QB taken in the top 2 since 1967 to win a playoff game. So it's been a little while for a top 2 pick to go on to win a playoff game. And honestly, that's not a big shock, because when you are a first or second overall pick, you are generally going to a bad team. And usually if you have that pick, you're not going to turn it around quite the way the Texans did, unless you had a scenario where you had the first pick, but it was because you traded with a different team and your team was already decent, and then you added a piece. That is a scenario I could see happening. But generally, if you are a true first or second overall, you're going to one of the worst teams in the league. And generally, you don't go from worst to first in your division. You certainly don't go into the playoffs and actually do something, even if you do pull that off. So again, awesome for him. 67 was a while ago. So, and then set the record for starting QB with pass attempts without an interception. So he ended up with 191 attempts before throwing his first pick of the season. And then he finished the season with a really impressive 23-5 touchdown to interception ratio. So not only was he dynamic and able to move the ball around, 4,100 yards is no joke, but he was also smart with the football. He was able to protect it, keep control. So it was, definitely good to see him come in and absolutely ball out, especially when you heard some of the preseason kind of slights toward him, as far as not necessarily being, going through some of the testing and not placing real high. he was getting a little bit slighted for that. And at the end of the day, he can play football, and that's the part that matters. So awesome for CJ Stroud. It was great to watch him all season. Obviously, he came up big for me after losing three of my starting quarterbacks in fantasy football. I was able to pick up CJ Stroud, and he was able to win a couple of games for me. I ended up similar to the Browns, where I ended up losing five starting quarterbacks on my fantasy team. So as you can imagine, my fantasy team did not do well. So there was that. All right. And then defensive rookie of the year, Will Anderson. This is not a surprise. Defensive end for the Texans. And obviously he was the third overall pick. And he was also third in pass rush win rate, right behind Myles Garrett, who ended up winning defensive player of the year. So, it ends up right behind him. Sixth in the run stop as well at 36%, which is pretty awesome, because that means he is a well-rounded defensive end. And, that's something that you can definitely build on moving forward. Usually you got a guy that is, significantly better at one or the other. And in this case, he was pretty balanced all season here. And of course, that percentage is for all defensive ends with over 400 snaps. So, obviously there was probably some win rates where you didn't have a lot of snaps. So they always try and throw those numbers out. He finished with 7 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, and 22 QB hits. And that's despite also missing some time with a ankle injury. I think he missed 2 games, and then he was kind of not really 100% for a couple of games as well. So a great showing for Will Anderson. I didn't think there was really any doubt. I know some people kind of wanted to see Witherspoon, the corner for the Seahawks, get potentially get the nod there. And Witherspoon did have an amazing season. He played exceptionally well. One of the few guys on that defense that, wanted to tackle. It was definitely some interesting situations watching the Seahawks on the defensive side of the ball. But Will Anderson gets the win here. And again, not a surprise. Played exceptionally well. All right. And then we got the MVP. We got Lamar Jackson. Wasn't a unanimous win, but it was pretty close. This is his second MVP. And, he definitely got some heat for the gameplay that happened in that championship game. And I don't really put a lot of it on Lamar. Now, some of it, absolutely, right? You can't throw deep downfield into triple coverage. You're essentially just tossing up a punt at that point. But I don't mind this, him being the MVP. He played really well. A lot of guys were also hurt, not to take away from his win. But usually 3,600 yards isn't going to quite get you there. CJ Stroud actually had a strong case for it for a lot of the year until he got hurt. So there was an outside chance that CJ Stroud could have got the MVP and the offensive rookie of the year, but Lamar gets this one. If you listen to his award speech, it was kind of hilarious though. He ended up getting calling out the Ravens in the way of saying, hey, thanks for getting the deal done. And, now he's up here getting his award. So it does. And not to take away from his 3,600 yards, his 3,678 that he threw this year actually was a career high. So it definitely was, his better year. He was smart with the football, didn't turn the ball over a lot. This was a team that should have been able to get into the Super Bowl, though. Everything was kind of teed up for them to have that success. They signed some free agent receivers. Their defense was, absolutely awesome. They were the lowest scoring points allowed defense in the league. So, there was a lot that was going into this team having success. And then they get into that and they abandon their run game. And so, again, none of that is particularly on Lamar, which is why it didn't hurt his MVP, bid here because at the end of the day, a lot of it was game planning. Obviously, he can't control if somebody fumbles going into the end zone, so some of those things aren't on him. The interception certainly was, but again, congratulations to Lamar Jackson with his second career MVP trophy. And now the only thing missing on his mantle is a Super Bowl trophy. So we will see what they can do next season. And, obviously we're gearing up for KC and San Fran on Sunday, which is going to be awesome. All right. Looks like I'm. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm having a little bit of signal issue this morning. So it is something I've been working through. Uh, yeah. All right. It looks like I'm back up. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Um, got yep, definitely have some weird signal stuff going on. All right. So comeback player of the year. This one was a little bit of a surprise to me. And this was Joe Flacco gets this award. I thought this was it kind of felt like Gino's award last year, and I didn't love that one either. I mean, you're not really coming back from anything other than not being good, right? I mean, Gino hadn't gotten, he had lost his starting spot, had been a backup for a long time, comes back, has an amazing year, right? But I thought in that year, like Saquon, right, coming back from significant injury, I thought he would have been a better spot for that. And this one here, similarly, Joe Flacco comes back and he doesn't play bad, right? Like I'm not saying that at all, but he only played 6 games, had a 14-9 touchdown to interception ratio, so nothing impressive there. It was a 90 QBR, so again, nothing too impressive. Um, he did throw for 300, just over 320 yards a game. So I mean, it's not that he was bad, right? But I don't know. It felt like this was going to be Damar Hamlin's award, comeback player of the year, right? After what happened last season, to come back and be able to play. Now, obviously, he didn't play a lot this year, and it really didn't have anything to do with his injury last year. He was getting less play time anyway. Some of the other guys had played better, so it's not the injury that necessarily took any play time from him. So I think his lack of just on the field time this season is ultimately what made it so that he didn't win that award. But I really thought that Damar Hamlin was probably going to get that one, and but Joe Flacco gets it, and it was kind of funny if you listen to an interview of Joe Flacco earlier in the a few weeks ago, I guess. Don't want to say earlier in the year, if 3-4 weeks ago, when he was in the conversation for this award, and even he said he didn't really get it. It was just lack of opportunity. He's like, "What did I come back from the couch?" So, and he's kind of not wrong, but again, he gets that win. I'm not mad at it. He did definitely come back from um, having a rough run with the Jets, right? He did not play well with them. So I do think that, he didn't necessarily just come back from not playing, but it is definitely something. Man, this is a rough morning. Live podcasting can be fun, I guess. Man, I'm not sure why I keep bouncing in and out here. Um, Thanks for everyone hanging on here. This is equally frustrating for me. All right, so where were we? Oh yeah, um, so we'll talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame inductions. Um, I don't have a problem with anyone on this list. Obviously, you start this list off with Dwight Freeney, incredible athlete, and great career. Um, just yeah, I mean, there's so much you could say about any of these guys that are on this list. Andre Johnson, one of the more dynamic receivers in the league, and obviously one of those probably the most viewed videos ever was him getting in a fight with um, Ryan Finnegan, and it it was one that always comes up whenever there are videos of NFL fights and stuff like that. Them ripping each other's helmets off, and then Johnson just absolutely landing haymakers. So it definitely a memorable guy in the NFL. Not just for that, but it's one of the videos that probably comes up more than anything else. Um, Randy Gradishar, Patrick Willis, Steve McMichael, Devin Hester, right? One of the most dynamic punt kick returners to ever play the game. Absolute difference maker. I was I was curious if he was going to get held out because he was a special teams guy primarily. And, sometimes because it's a voting thing that maybe they don't view it as impactful as it really was. But he does get in there, which is awesome. And then, of course, Julius Peppers, obviously just a stud as well. So awesome to see those guys get in. I would say that all of them are a solid addition to Canton. And so then we're going to take a look here at the class of 2025, the ones that are capable of going in. And so first one in is Eli Manning. This is one where arguments always happen. And why I say that is you either think he's a Hall of Famer or you don't. I'm one that thinks he is a borderline guy. And why I say that is if he doesn't get the 2 rings, I don't think he gets in. His numbers aren't exactly amazing, but those 2 rings matter. And so I think ultimately getting those 2 Super Bowl rings will get him in. And he will probably be a first ballot guy. I'd be kind of surprised if he's not. But again, if I was the one voting, I don't know that I would have him in as a first ballot. It, again, stat wise, wasn't great. Regular season numbers weren't amazing, but he did have 2 incredible playoff runs. And, there was some luck involved in some of those plays as well. Obviously, the helmet catch, that's a fairly lucky play for that to come down in numerous ways because he also escaped getting sacked. So I mean, there's elements to it that had some luck, but for you to win a championship, you have to be good and you have to have some luck on your side. So not mad at it, but I do think that Eli Manning gets in primarily because of those 2 rings, not because of anything else. Luke Kuechly, he's gonna be nominated. Adam Vinatieri, that sure seems like a first ballot kind of guy. He is the league leader as far as points, as I recall. So I would imagine that he doesn't have to wait very long to get into the hall here. Terrell Suggs, also a incredible player. I think he will probably. Man, these are tough. This is a good. This is a really good list. Marshall Yada, Marshawn Lynch, Earl Thomas. Lynch is funny. It'll be, was his career long enough? Did he amass enough yards? Did he get enough things to get in? If it came down to impact, obviously during the time he was there, um, I don't know if there was any more brutal a runner than Marshawn Lynch. So does he get in on a first ballot? I don't know. Does he eventually get in? You would think he probably will. Um, Earl Thomas, again, he's one of those guys that I don't know if he gets in, especially because it's a voting thing. And you look at how his career ended with Baltimore and just like the weird things that kind of happened right there at the end of his career. Some of those things can definitely keep you from getting the votes that you need to get in. Um, we got Joe Staley, Demarius Thomas, Aqib Talib, Vernon Davis, Darren Sproles, Cameron Wake. This is going to be a really tough list to work through and really decide who it is going to make it in and who is, going to be waiting another year to have another shot at it. But this list right here definitely has some names that have a shot at being a first ballot Hall of Famer, and we'll see how that goes. But man, I'm looking forward to seeing which one of these guys, especially if Manning doesn't get in. Some of the hype and commentary that's going to be around that will absolutely. Man, I apologize, guys. This is don't know what's going on. Signal says it's fine, but keep dropping out today. So not really sure what is happening here, but gonna have to figure this out as we go. So naturally, this would happen when everybody is off today. Oh man. All right. So okay. In theory, we should be good. We'll see. The struggle is real this morning. All right. Looks like we're good. Hopefully you guys can hear me. All right. Chargers hire Shane Day as QB coach, a position that he held with the Chargers in 21 and 22. He was the offensive pass coordinator and this last season, but Mike Florio actually thought that Colin Kaepernick might get brought back in to be the quarterback's coach. And it was a story that was kind of catching a little bit of steam, especially with Jim Harbaugh being there. And, the fact that Harbaugh really liked Kaepernick, you could see the potential of maybe he would bring him in. Obviously, he's not going to be a player or anything like that. This would solidly have been to be a quarterback's coach. And in this scenario, they decide to go a different route, keep the guy in-house that has been doing it. And of course, it's not like Justin Herbert has played poorly with, with their current setup. It was their defense that really kept them from winning games. So when you think back to this last season before he gets hurt, they were putting up, I think it was close to 28 points. They were, just right around 300 yards passing. So, I mean, it was a good season, and it has been a progression with Herbert getting better each year. It was just unfortunate that the defense was not very good. So for them to keep Shane definitely makes sense. It's a guy that Herbert is used to. Obviously, they get production out of it. So I like this pickup. It would have been interesting to see how it was received if Kaepernick did end up on that staff, and not to say that it can't happen in the future. It certainly could, but I don't see anywhere else on that roster for him to be if he were to try and still bring him in. Quarterback's coach probably would have made the most sense, whether you like him as a quarterback or not. He definitely was in the league long enough to have some knowledge in that front, on that front. So don't mind that. One of the things we're definitely going to talk about with McLovin when he gets here is Mike Zimmer. Looks to be the guy that's going to get the nod for the DC job in Dallas. That would be very interesting. It's not an appointment that I love. I would have rather seen them go after Rex Ryan. I know Rex Ryan definitely wants to be back in the league. You've really seen him kind of be a little more animated about wanting to be back over the last, season or two. And this would have been a great spot for it. And of course, when McLovin gets here, I'm definitely going to give him, a little bit of a rash of it, because then it'll be funny if next year they elevate Zimmer into being the head coach, fire McCarthy. I don't think it'll actually happen, but it's something that I could see McLovin losing his mind on a little bit. But it's I think that would be it'll be a fun conversation. So definitely stick around for the second hour for that. But yeah, no, that one will be fun. And then Wink Martindale, Giants DC, is headed to Michigan. He is going to basically have the same role. He's going to be their DC down there. And that's a team that, obviously their coaching staff has mostly been completely ripped apart. And so that'll be it'll be good to see what he can do down there. Obviously with the Giants, there was so much wrong with that team. I don't know how much of it you can really hang on Wink, and how much of it is that team just needs a lot of pieces. So there's definitely that. Bill O'Brien headed to Boston College to be the head coach. So that is interesting too. It be kind of fun to see Bill O'Brien down there, see what they can do with Boston College. I didn't think he was going to go back to the college ranks. I kind of Boston College would probably be a good. Oh man, I got the buffering wheel again. This is killing me today. All right, looks like I'm back. Man, all right. This is brutal. So sticking on the college front, the Washington roster has pretty much been pillaged. So not only do they lose their head coach down to Alabama, obviously their offensive coordinator goes down there. So this team has more or less been pulled apart. Now they're losing all of their students. their athletes to the transfer portal. So with basically since Kalen DeBoer took over in Alabama, they have lost a record of 15 players to the other Power Four conferences. And that makes them going from being in the national title game this last year to, let's see, they are going to lose 22 starters on offense and defense, and only 2 returning to Washington. So this is a Huskies team that is going to be wildly different going into next year. Not only do you have a bunch of your coaching staff gone, but at this point you are losing a lot of your students. They are probably primed to have a little bit of a rough season. They are losing cornerback Jabbar Muhammad to Oregon, cornerback Javion Green to Stanford, Asa Turner to Florida, Mish Powell to Miami, um, wide receiver Gurmy Bernard to Alabama, Tashawn Lyons to Utah, Trey Watson to Texas A&M, quarterback Austin Mack to Alabama, uh, left guard Nate Calopo to Ole Miss, Doreen Hatchett to Oklahoma, Julius Bolo to Ole Miss, Parker's Braceford to Alabama, BJ Green to Colorado, Noah Carter to Alabama, Ethan Barr to UCF. And all of that happened within since DeBoer had gone to Alabama. So this is going to be a little bit of a rough year for the Huskies. Absolutely dismantled this team. They can't be loving their the transfer portal with the way this team has been strip mined. But did I want Grubb for the Hawks? I actually wouldn't have minded Grubb for the Hawks. That would have been a pretty decent fit if, and I only if they were going to go after Penix. Do I think it would have been a slam dunk if they were going after anyone else? No, I think his knowledge of Penix's gameplay and having been his offensive coordinator before, I think would have been, I think it would have been a good mix. That being said, it's not like Penix has to play immediately. You have Geno Smith. Obviously, he can definitely still play. Obviously, he had a down year this last year, largely in part to offensive line play. But I think if you're going after a quarterback, something like a Grubb would have been smart. But we'll see where they end up. And Huskies will be every team's gimme win next season. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's unfortunate to see the team kind of get strip mined the way it was. Definitely seemed like they were going to be able to keep some of that talent, although unfortunately, changing into the new conference, losing your head coach, losing your OC, losing other position coaches as well. At this point, now losing 22 of your starters and only retaining 2 scholarship kids Man, I'm getting really close to having to run this from my phone. This is um, this is crazy. It, I don't think I've had my signal drop in and out like this on a live show as of yet. So I guess I've had a pretty good run, doing this for the last year and a half, not having one where it just continually came and went. I've lost power a couple of times. That was kind of interesting, but yeah. So if you're watching along, I apologize for the technical issues today. It's been a little bit of a problem. Um, just doing a signal test to see if I see what's going on. Oh, is that the deal? There's a storm coming through? Okay. Yeah, I didn't. So that's good to know, Rob. I had no idea that we had some storm clouds rolling through. That actually makes a ton of sense now because yeah, I mean we'll be going along just fine, and then the signal just absolutely drops out to nothing. I get the globe with the line through it, which basically means it's zero fun. But yeah, I guess if we got some storm clouds coming through, that makes a lot more sense now. So again, for the fifth time, I guess I apologize if you're watching along for my signal issues, but it's where we're at today. At least it's Friday. Looking forward to the game this weekend. Hopefully we don't have this issue. Maybe I'll be planning. Well, at least I'll be in the North End at some friends' houses, so that'll be fun. But yeah, all right. So now try and get back on track. This is it's tough to remember exactly where I was here as I work through trying to get this. Oh yeah, one of the other. All right. So if you tuned in, we talked about this a little bit on, I believe it was Wednesday, and it's amazing how much hate there has been for Zach Wilson. Obviously, not the most mature quarterback out there, and it, some of the things that your assistant coaches and scouts and in this case saying I'd give up a 2 week stay at the Best Western is that's not a ringing endorsement of the kid at all. Now obviously these are going to remain anonymous because nobody's going to tie their name to it, but something like a midday 3 if you're lucky. Again, not exactly a ringing endorsement for him, but I do think that ultimately he probably ends up somewhere around the league. Um, it's just I don't know if he's going to be a starter again. He could realistically he'll probably be on a roster. He'll be someone's backup. Hopefully it'll be a little bit of a humbling experience for him. He can kind of get his mind right. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. It is something that we we'll have to keep an eye on because I do think he can throw the ball. Like he can make the throws, right? Zach Wilson can absolutely do that. His ability to read a defense, get through progressions, stuff like that. Obviously he has not been able to do that well as far as leading guys in the locker room. Again, not exactly the what you want out of the guy. um, Hawks backup, him and Gino, former Jets. I mean, I wouldn't want him in as a Hawks fan. I wouldn't want him in the room. That would be pretty hilarious, but I can't imagine that that's probably that's probably not the way that's going to go. I mean, anything's possible. They are going to lose Drew Lock most likely due to he played well enough. I think that he's going to get a deal somewhere. So they're going to need a backup, especially if they don't go with a quarterback in the draft. It makes you think that they probably will this time around, though, just because they're picking 16. The draft is pretty deep. So I think they could go after a Penix or a Bo Nix or something like that. Obviously, they're not going to get, the first three guys. Those guys will be long gone by then. I don't see them moving up to get anybody. But I mean, I don't know if he was cheap enough, I could see a team taking a flyer on. Man, this might be one where when McLovin comes in, I just hand the show over to him. This, oops, yeah, this is great. I hope this is a huge storm that's coming through because this is a little bit ridiculous here. Let's see. All right, so this is a little bit crazy. I haven't had to deal with this on a live stream, but I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to try and restart everything, and yeah, I'm going to try and restart everything. So I do apologize if you're watching along. This has been a little bit of a cluster to say the least. Um, so I'm going to have this. I'm going to back out, try and restart everything, see if I can get some better signal because obviously this is not a great way to go. Um, so I will be back as fast as this stuff can restart. Okay. So, in theory, maybe that'll help. Man, I I hope so. I I hope it'll help because man, I think I've dropped out like 8 times today already, and I'm supposed to go through 4 hours of shows today. So this is it not inspiring confidence here, but I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me here, working through this with me. It again, man, doing the best I can here with this thing falling apart. So go through. Let's see. Try and figure out exactly where we were and what we were doing today. In fact, we're close enough to the top of the hour. Let's just let's do our top of the hour commercial while I try and figure out exactly where we were, and we'll see you right on the other side.
This is Reggie Jones, owner and founder of Air Sports Academy. Air is based on 4 core principles: heart, education, integrity, resiliency. Air is about developing student athletes physically and mentally through training, mentorship, and effective marketing. We've created a platform and a blueprint for our state to shine in the brightest of lights. I created this program because it was a need for our state. We needed to have the light shine on the student athletes in our region. And now that is happening at an all-time and undeniable rate. We created a lane for the kids in our state to get their college education paid for and set their families up for future success. We created an environment where serious athletes can now come compete fearlessly. We've achieved this through our variety of elite programs. Our 6-month off-season program, where first-year starters or seasoned vets can all come develop. Our 5-on-5 program, which is all about our line. Our youth tackle program, which is the first and only youth tackle team from the state of Washington to ever win a major national championship. Our 7-on-7 program, which is ranked top 10 in the country every year. Our high school 11-on-11 club tackle program, which creates a unique and much-needed opportunity for our kids. Our college prep program, which allows our graduates to come back from college and prepare for the upcoming season. Our track and field program, which creates an opportunity for our young air boys and air girls to continue to get faster. When you're a national program, you receive national respect, which is why when you look at recruiting boards and top player lists from around the country, you'll always find players from Air on those lists. Which is why college coaches from some of the most prestigious schools around the country come into our facility to recruit our players. The Penn State, Alabama, Oregon, Stanford, Florida State, the list goes on. Our players are being recruited, offered, and committing to some of the top schools in the nation. The experience our players and families receive is second to none. We offer a competitive brand of sports at Air. We are the ball. And with that comes great responsibility. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. This is Air.
Hey, McLovin, how's it going, buddy?
It is going wonderful. How are you today?
It's been a weird morning already. I keep having my signal drop in and out. So at some point you may be by yourself. This thing has come in and out on me probably 6 or 7 times already today. So it's been a choppy program on a Friday, but definitely wanted to chat with you about Mike Zimmer being your guy.
Yeah, it's a second go around, right? So I'm hoping the second go around will be better than the first.
Sorry, I did that out loud.
It's okay. Look, he's not a bad coach, right? He's got a pretty good defensive mind.
He does.
He didn't obviously, the whole thing with Minnesota, and of course he got out of there. I think he got a little toxic out there for a while with him in Minnesota. My only thing is I just hope he doesn't bring that kind of toxicity over to the Cowboys. We got enough of it already. I'm just saying, man, there's a lot of craziness. So, not as bad as what's going on in Eagle Land. Those dudes are really toxic, but don't tell Philly I said that because they'll probably be in here in about 10 minutes. I just find the funny thing is that the color of their uniforms is green and the color of toxicity is green. Let that sit in for a minute. Just let that sit in for a minute. But no, on all honesty, though, we'll see what he does. They got the right players, they got the right talent, and let's see what he can do with that. I'm going to guarantee you, I'm not going to guarantee, you can't guarantee. I'm going to foresee that possibly he will at least keep the cornerbacks attacking the line of scrimmage. I'm thinking they'll have GPS trackers on the cornerbacks to actually, find the receivers. So I expect a little bit better, but time will tell. The regular season is going to tell.
Yeah, I mean, you'll know right away, right? Like if there's a defensive drop off, there's a problem. But I mean, like this next year seems like your last real year of the window that you have,
right?
Because I mean, from there, I think it's going to start to unravel. Guys are getting older, contracts are coming up. I think it next year is that it definitely is that Super Bowl or bust kind of situation.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that, I will say about the Cowboys, they don't have to worry about people coming over here to poach our coordinators.
I mean,
ain't nobody want these people.
They did, though, right? You lost Kellen Moore. You lost Dan Quinn. I mean, the coordinators are leaving.
Kellen Moore was a gift that he left. Dan Quinn, regular season Dan Quinn, I needed that guy. Playoff Dan Quinn, yeah, you can have that one. You can have the playoff Dan Quinn, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen between him and Cliff Kingsbury out there in Washington. I mean, Washington just can't get better, and it's just a lack of choices, right? They make bad choices. Have they? It doesn't matter. Even with the ownership groups, they just make bad choices. Like seriously, like the only ones that make worse choices than the Cowboys or the Washington Redskins. And maybe now the New York Giants, with them thinking that they want to ride the Andrew Jones train or the Danny DeVito train, they did make a good choice, I feel like, in their head coach. I think Dable is still a good guy, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the jury's out on that, right? Like he wins Coach of the Year last year. It was kind of a train wreck this year.
Right.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. I think it's going to be one of those. He's going to have a kind of a short leash this next year. Right? Like if it starts off like it did last year, I think he's in trouble.
Right. I don't think we in the Zimmers of the world and the Brian Shanahans of the world, those are the guys I guess that Mike McCarthy likes. I don't think anybody else is going to like him, but Mike McCarthy likes him. So I'm just waiting for Jerry just to get rid of him
and elevate Mike Zimmer.
Bring in a new guy, and take us down a different approach.
They're elevating Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, it's going to happen. But really, it doesn't matter who you bring on that defense or really even on the offense, because at the end of the day, man, it's still Mike McCarthy's team. And right now, and he's playing the last of the contract. Yes, he hasn't been offered an extension, but Jerry did that same thing with what's his fate? Yes, with Garrett too. So. And that's probably one of the things I actually like about Jerry is before I'm going to give you a great contract, let's see how you do in this next contract. That way I have an out if you suck.
Sure.
Or if you don't, or if you don't do anything better than what you're doing now. And hopefully it will make them try harder to get that extension, right? So they want to do better.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to ball out on your contract year, whether you're a player or a coach. It's funny though because
ball out year.
Just for the entertainment value. I think McCarthy gets fired and Zimmer is now your head coach.
And that's even suckier, man. It's just a recycled pile of crap. And that's why I really don't even care at this point. Literally, I don't care. I went through this cycle and went through this phase, after the first decade of losing, the second decade, I started to wise up and I started to say, I'm going to be more protective of my feelings and my emotions. I'm going to still love the Cowboys. It's still going to be my team forever. I'm never going to leave them, but I'm going to protect myself because it just hurts eating that much humble pie. That's why I'm fat. I have eaten a lot of humble pie. And Bo, you can only eat so much humble pie, and then you realize, you know what? I'm tired of eating humble pie. If they suck, okay, they're just going to suck. I mean, I can only control what I can control. As a fan, you can only control. Like, I think, I forget who was saying it, but remember when they say, as a fan, you can only control what you can control?
No,
Well,
that's for sure. That's for sure. No, and that's why that song, long neck cold beers never broke my heart, right? Like Diamond Rings, football teams. Like it's,
So at this point, I have resigned myself to the fact that I am 51, fit to be 52 this year. And I figured Jerry is in his 80s. He's got about 10 more years left in his life, unless he cryogenically freezes himself like Ted Williams did. So I'll be about 62. And then maybe Steven will take over. And hopefully Steven will not be like his dad. Maybe Steven will want to go a different direction and actually be like a Robert Kraft and go get a damn general manager and an actual bona fide coach and let them do what they do.
That's not a thing.
So maybe I feel like, okay, so I got 62. Maybe I make it to 82, depending on if she kills me or not. And so I got a good 20 years. I can still get a good 20 years of back to Cowboy the way it was. I just got to make it another 10 years. That's it. So I'm on Jerry's timeline right now. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, do you see it any other way?
I really don't. It's funny because the things that he does well, he then gets in his own way and messes them up.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing. At least with the Cowboys, I know what the problem is. That big pile of crap over there where it's green, they can't figure it out. You got one good year with Nick Foles that came in and got you Super Bowl. Congratulations. Okay, but you can't get it. You can't even win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts, and you got all this talent around him. You got the Goddard, you got the defense, you got the coaches, you got all this, but you don't have a Super Bowl win. So they got a lot to figure out over there. At least we know what our but we know what our problem is. But I don't think Pags or anybody over there really knows what the true problem is in that damn locker room. Look at Bo froze. That's a beautiful picture of Bo right there. I got to tell you. But yeah, let's talk about. Let's see what else we're going to talk about. I don't know what their agenda was for today, but we know that there he is. Came back. I was literally going through my mind. Topics. Go to the Rolodex.
Oh man, it's been a rough one. Yeah.
Hey, just say it one time with me. Aqueous Sagum.
No.
It's okay. He's not here. You can say it all you want. He's not here to bully you.
Oh, it's not that.
No, he's not here to bully you. You can say it as much as you want. Aqueous Sagum. It'll make you feel better.
The thing is I like the Eagles more than the Cowboys. There it is. Now you have the buffering wheel.
You know what? To hell with all y'all.
It's
damn it, I don't like y'all. Why? Okay, let me ask you this: Why do you hate the Cowboys so much? What exactly is it about the Cowboys that you just love the Eagles so much? But they get the worst damn fan base ever. They're a bunch of assholes over there. What do you like about them so much?
So I'm not saying I love them for sure.
No, you said quote unquote I like them more than I do the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. I like the Eagles.
Yeah, because there's 32 teams, so someone had to fall above.
I just want to know the truth. Just give it to me straight. Why do you hate the Eagles, or why do you hate the Cowboys and you love the Eagles?
Okay. So we're not going to go with I love the Eagles because that's not a real thing. But the Cowboys, I actually don't have a problem with the Cowboys so much. It's the fan base is ridiculous, and so they're the ones that make it so you're just like, I kind of hope you guys lose. Like, so it's not necessarily anything that directly has to do with the Cowboys team itself.
It's just we love our team.
Sure.
We love our team.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, apparently there is, because if you love your team, you get hated on. It's true.
I mean, yeah, I guess. But I mean, but some of it is it's probably the way they go
I think
about the love.
I think what you hate is the fact that you feel like they think they're the best team ever, and they haven't won anything in a while, and that just gets on your nerves. Is that kind of where you're going?
Yeah, it's an annoying fan base. We'll go with that. Yes.
Because I tell you what, man, look at those Eagles. Those Eagles are not very nice people over there. Their fan base is not very nice.
I mean, to be fair, you guys don't try and burn your city down if things don't go your way. So,
That's
like,
true. We just pick it up
I'm not
and
discounting that. No, for me, if I was actually going to pick like a different team than my own that I was going to root for,
yeah,
right, it'd be the Ravens for me.
Are you a Ravens guy?
I like the Ravens. I like the way they play defense. I like the way they teach defense. Defensive player, right?
Right.
So
That's
I can
almost more of a Harbaugh thing than it is a Ravens. I mean, because he's one that kind of preached and brought all that over there, right?
No.
Actually, it does go back to, was it Billick?
Yeah, exactly. Billick.
Yeah, because Ray Lewis is actually with Billick at the very beginning of it.
Absolutely. And
Billick. Yeah, you're right.
And Billick won a ring.
Yeah.
But that defense was no joke. So yeah, no, I like the element of what they do on the defensive side of the ball. So I do like the Ravens team. That being said, I'm a Seahawk fan through and through. So I mean, I hope everybody loses when we square up.
That's the thing, though, and I don't think I'm delusional when I say this. I felt like, if the Cowboys just would have played more in-your-face defense in the playoffs, I felt like we still had a really good shot because we got a great team. We really do. We got a lot of talent on that team, but that defense just pros again. What the hell is wrong with this? But you know what I'm saying? I feel like our defense just let us down, man. I feel like if we would have had that regular season defense in the playoffs, the way we were playing, we'd have been fine.
Yeah,
There's always something with the Cowboys. It's always something.
I don't know what it is with you guys. Like when it comes to December football, that's where the wheels start to come off, and then soon as the playoffs come, like it's a wrap. Like it is, it's very weird.
And that's another thing too. Like I feel like, like last year, what was our problem with the Niners? I think last year we played against the Niners, if I'm not mistaken. That was the one where they committed all the turnovers, right? I mean, not all the turnovers, all the penalties. I think they had like 10 penalties on offense in the first half alone, And I'm like, we're just killing ourselves. It's not that we can actually win the damn thing, but we just do stupid things. Either the play calling this year or the penalties from last year, or Tony Romo can't hold the damn football straight so he can kick it through the uprights. I mean, it's just something. It's always something.
I gotta say, I enjoyed that game.
Oh, I know you did. I'm tracking.
Well, it happened. I was in the stadium for that one, so that one happened right in front of me.
Yeah,
and
it's all good. I'm just saying it's all, the Cowboys just shoot themselves in the foot. The other teams really don't beat us. We just shoot ourselves in the foot every time. And I think that's the most frustrating thing for me to deal with is just how much we shoot ourselves in the foot. Like I'm screaming at the TV, you're 10 yards off. Why are you 10 yards off? Get closer. Attack the line of scrimmage. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Hey, Quinn, you suck.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys were playing the defense you were. It was really soft defense. But then also they weren't adjusting to what the play was. So they were just kind of out in one spot and then not really moving around. It was very weird. It was a very strange defense to watch. I guess you guys just got the L in the script yet again. I don't know.
I mean, it is. Anyway, it is what it is, man. And that's just one of the things that I have just come to reside myself in. That I don't get up, I don't get high on the hog. I don't get I stay straight line. We suck. And if we win a Super Bowl, oh no, we didn't suck. We're great. But you know what? I'm not getting high until I get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm just, and it's so weird because like you're talking and your face is just like, it's like you're calling your driver's license, but it's frozen. It's weird.
Oh, because I keep dropping in and out? Yeah.
Yeah, no, because like I'll be talking, all of a sudden your face looks like it's on a driver's license photo.
Oh, that's hilarious.
and then you come back to life, and I'm like, oh, he's still here with me.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to power through, man. It's funny. I did get sent a picture because I didn't even know we were having, you know, storm coming through. Like I didn't know that was supposed to
Oh,
happen
y'all got
today.
one going through there right now?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so, but I didn't know, right? Like I got everything closed so that the lighting isn't messed up, and I got these guys on, so I can't really hear anything else. And
Yeah.
so I get this picture, and it is all extraordinarily dark green. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So we basically have some wicked thunderstorms rolling through.
Oh, Jesus.
So if I drop out,
It
that's
is
why.
what it is. Hey,
Yeah.
we'll talk about. Let me ask you: do you? I don't know about you, man, but I really one of my favorite people in the broadcasting industry. One of my favorite people is Berman. I love Chris Berman.
Sure.
He's so entertaining. He's so much fun to watch. He's loud. He's funny. He's so creative the way he
Yep.
delivers. You know what I mean? Like that's just like for me. He's just like top notch. Chris Berman,
Yeah.
the Swami. Right. We've been watching this guy forever.
Yeah.
And it
No,
just never gets old watching him. It just doesn't.
No, he's hilarious. I actually really wish I would have been able to go to Radio Row this week.
Right.
That would have been so much fun.
Right.
Knowing people that are down there and seeing the experience they're having, definitely have to try and do that next year. That it looks like a blast. I am going to try and hit the draft this year, though.
Right.
Cruise over to Detroit. I think that should be kind of fun.
So what do you think about I guess Bill O'Brien got picked up by BC? I don't know if y'all talked about that yet or not.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I thought he was going to try and stay in the league, but I mean, I didn't see what the contract was worth, so maybe the dollars make sense. Boston College seems like one of those where even if you have success, like that's dropping some rungs. So you got some other schools that you'd have to go to before you find your way back to the league if you wanted to do that.
Right.
I don't think that's not like going like Wink, right? He's going to Michigan, right? So from Michigan, if you want to come back to the league, like you can do that, right? That'd be an easier jump. I think from Boston College, that'd be much harder.
You brought up Michigan, so and I know Wink went over there. Why didn't they just elevate the guy that took over and ran the season
for the head coach?
Yeah, I forget that guy. Is that his? Did they do that? Okay, I wasn't sure if they did that or not, but he did such a phenomenal job in Harbaugh's absence.
Yeah, no, I think they did elevate him to the head coach. It's just the rest of the coaching staff got pillaged.
Well, yeah, I figured they would. Isn't that what they always do? Kind of when one coach leaves, they kind of
they clear house essentially. I mean, that's usually
what's their expectation for the Wolverines after Harbaugh? Like next year, what do you think their expectation is, and where do you think they're going to have them ranked? I don't think they've gotten the rankings out yet for next season, have they?
No, not yet. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine it's great.
And that's what I'm curious because McCarthy left, right? He's in the draft, and I think Corum's left, and then I think he's in the draft.
Yep.
And then their head coach leaves, which I'm wondering how that's going to affect their recruiting and what they can get in the transfer portal and all that. Even though, again, the guy that was behind him did a hell of a good job.
He did, but that team was absolutely stacked, right? I mean,
they
got a lot of NFL talent. They had a lot of seniors, so they're going to have a lot of turnover. I'm curious to see what happens there. I did touch on Washington's situation, right? The Huskies, because they lose DeBoer down to Alabama, right? They lose their offensive coordinator Grubb down to Alabama. And now the transfer portal hits and they are losing 22 of their players. They're only going to have 2 returning scholarship kids.
Yeah. They're like, hey, we're out of here.
Yeah.
Why are we going to stay?
No, exactly. But I mean, so that school's going to go from in the national championship to
last.
Probably pretty close.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, they're going to be bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, no, they're in for a rough season coming up.
I mean, they had a magical run, right? Under Penix and company. I mean, they had a magical run over there. But not,
Well,
but
and
man,
they were
I knew it. I was like, man, it's a one hit wonder. They'll be back to where they were, and
well,
I'm
I
just
mean
curious as to
they
whether
were
or not
pretty good the year
Michigan will do
before.
that.
They were
Yeah,
pretty good the year before, but this year obviously was
right.
a great year. But yeah, I mean they're going to go from an undefeated team to, I mean, they might make a bowl game,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
right.
So it, I don't know the way that it's lit.
Love it when he freezes up like that. It looks just like a driver's license photo with headphones. Um, yeah, I'm wondering where he does land, on all honesty, because of the fact that, or where even Michigan lands. There, are you
Yeah,
back? Okay,
yeah, man.
it's okay. We were just, I was just saying, you look like we were just talking about your driver's license photo. No big deal, man. I like to pick you apart while when you're
Well, I'm
frozen
not
like
here.
that. Yeah. Call them Jason Hour. But no, seriously, like Michigan, I gotta imagine now that their head coach is gone, that they're gonna fall in the rankings. Like they're not gonna have these guys ranked number one,
Oh God, no,
or even
no, no.
Bama for that reason. I don't, I mean, I think we're
I
gonna have
could
a new.
see, I could see Texas actually.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, and I'm
I
not trying
think
to
the
be biased because
Longhorns.
they're from Texas, but I can see it because they're recruiting well. They're going to be in the SEC, so now they're going to have a harder schedule. People are going to want to come play for that. So yeah, I absolutely, and I'm curious, and I'm praying that Archie Manning will have a little bit more leeway, stay on the bench, and let Ewers take it one more season, because I got to imagine this is what I'm pretty sure this is Ewers' last season. I'm assuming then he'll be in the draft. I think
Yeah, I
this.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah. So, and I think Archie will do that. I think Archie knows that it's his team the last 2 years of his eligibility.
sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I liked what I saw out of the Longhorns last year, and they have a lot of guys returning. And
Right.
then when you look at teams like Michigan that are falling apart, Washington falling apart, Alabama's got a bit of a question mark now that Saban's gone.
Right.
All of a sudden there's a real opportunity for, the Longhorns to jump in here and try and win the Natty, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you, there are pros and cons to the transfer portal and the NIL, right? There's pros and cons, but I will tell you
Yeah,
this, that transfer portal, more than anything else, is just like the changing of the guard with all the top teams and who the top teams are. Because
yeah,
now that the transfer portal is there, I mean, literally, you're buying players, and you're literally, who's got the most money, who can spend the most money to get all these guys in, and that's a huge thing, and it really has changed the landscape of who the top teams are now, right? About the Bamas and the Michigans and Ohio's and stuff like that. I mean, they're sliding now, and it's going to be other schools popping up now.
well, and that's why you see, the older guys like Saban saying,
Right.
I think I'm good, because now you have to
Yeah.
adapt to the way recruiting is now, right? And
Yeah.
the way he used to recruit won't work anymore,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, well, remember when he went to the Dolphins in the NFL, he didn't have a good time over there. It was really hard on him, and that's why he came back. And now that college is starting to take on NFL traits again, that's just not him. He's old school, and sometimes the old school people just need to be put out. I hate to say it, Nick, but you got to be put out to pasture, guys.
It's funny though, because I think even had they won, he'd have
Yeah.
still called it. I think he'd have still retired, because I don't think he enjoys the landscape of what it is today.
Right.
You know?
And what's weird is Nick, he actually had a cult following out there at
Oh yeah.
Bama.
Oh yeah.
I remember hearing about that. Like all these women they had these cult followings for him.
Oh yeah. I didn't hear that part.
It was, oh yeah, man. It was
recruiting wise, it definitely was a thing.
Oh yeah. Oh no, the way they treated that man on campus, he was probably more important than the damn dean.
Yeah. No, I mean that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the athletic director, or really pretty much anybody. I'm just saying that's how much they loved him there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how DeBoer does, because there's some pressure, right? Like you're following up Saban, guy that's won more than anybody. I mean, you're going to have a lot of pressure to keep them competitive. Now he's a good coach, right? Like I mean, again, he had Washington in the championship, so I mean, it's not like you can't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Since we're kind of talking about coaches, I'm still upset with was it Stefanski? I think he's the one that
Oh,
got Coach of the Year over D'Amico.
he did.
That still just chaps my hide, man.
I
I
know.
mean, what the
I know.
hell?
I was going to bring it up for sure because it's. I knew you were going to be mad about it. I kind of was too. I thought D'Amico Ryans earned it, or at a minimum,
You know?
it, you know, Dan Campbell, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go for on that level, I mean, this is D'Amico's first year, and hell, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see Cleveland in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean it.
I'm just saying, like, how do you qualify him as Coach of the Year? I don't know. Unless it's a popularity thing, I just can't imagine. It
Well,
doesn't make sense.
it is right. All of the
Yeah.
awards are.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why you end up with, some of the weird, uh, some of the weird guys that win, right? I mean, so here's the thing, though. Like, it's not that Kevin Stefanski didn't earn it, right? They did get to the playoffs. They were a wild card team, right? They were 11-6, and they started 5 different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That is a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, he was able to get there with really inconsistent offensive play, fantastic defense, right? Awesome
Oh
defense.
yeah. Yeah.
But so it's not that I'm saying he doesn't deserve it. But when you look at the Texans, you got rookie coach, rookie quarterback, rookie leader on your defense in the D end, Will Anderson, right?
Right.
I mean, like that's a lot of first year guys.
Right.
And most of those guys won awards, right?
Yeah.
You got CJ Stroud winning offensive rookie of the year. You got Will Anderson winning defensive rookie of the year.
Right.
I mean, it seemed like coach of the year was kind of a shoe-in.
Suit, maybe?
What's that?
So it seemed like it should have followed suit.
Yeah, no, exactly. Seemed like a foregone conclusion. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't do that. But, I mean, at the same time, going 11-6 with 5 different quarterbacks is pretty impressive.
Well, I mean, I understand where you're coming from with that. And the fact that you were able to get the most out of Joe Flacco. That speaks, volumes too. But I just don't know that it's the volume of that is of the magnitude of going from laughing stock to in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not like you went worse.
To me, that's just that degree of it's just I don't know. It blows my mind.
I'm with you. I mean, when you go in your division, worst to first, and win a playoff game,
yeah,
I feel like you have to be in that conversation.
Oh yeah. Since we're talking, what did you think about Myles Garrett over T.J. Watt and company getting defensive?
That's another one I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
I liked T.J. there. It was Myles Garrett's first time winning it, so I mean, maybe that had something to do with it, right? Because T.J.'s won it before.
Yeah.
So because these are a voting type of thing, that does play a factor. Because it's not like the numbers were off the charts for him, right? He was 7th in sacks. So, I mean, whatever. But I think the one that was pretty impressive is he was 2nd in pass rush win rate. And then he was able to do that while facing the 3rd highest double team rate. So,
I mean, I get that too. I get that. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, he was able to get home even in double teams. That's pretty impressive. This is another one where I don't hate that he won. I thought that it was going to go a different way.
Yeah, I could see it. Who exactly votes on it? Is it the sports writers? Are they the ones that vote on this award, or is it a fan based vote that gets these guys their trophies?
That I don't know for this. Let me Google that. I'm not entirely sure.
Because I was curious. I'm pretty sure it's probably sports writers or coaches maybe that maybe have some kind of weigh in on who gets nominated and maybe who gets the wins.
Let's see. Yeah, AP Sports Writers.
It is the AP Sports Writers? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to pay them a visit.
Yeah, I mean, they always suck. So
I'm just saying. I just feel that way.
yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. Generally don't love the way a lot of these votes go, but
and sports writers have a lot of power. It seems like they control the Hall of Fame votes. I think to a certain degree,
yep.
they control the rankings, right, of college teams, and and these awards. I mean, like they have like a lot of more than I think they should.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Like I would love to revamp this and say, okay, let's do half coaches and half sports writers and have that make up the team or make up the panel of voters. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, if you got 12 voters, that vote on this, 6 and 6. That way, I feel like you got at least a little bit of different perspective than just a one-sided media perspective, right? Because if the media don't like you,
or you get the emotion out of it altogether and you do half the voting AI and half of it with the writers, because then a lot of the votes are going to be based on stats,
right,
and then you throw that human element in there because they're going to factor in some other things. But I don't know if there's really a good way to actually fix it, but and again, it's not like Myles Garrett isn't deserving of the award, right?
Oh, I think there's a way to fix it. The problem is people aren't going to do it. I mean, like I said, I really believe if you have half coaches and half, writers, that can certainly give you a more balanced perspective than maybe their perspective of it.
No, for sure.
I can actually coach the game.
Definitely getting guys in there that are, football guys.
Or even, what about even having like old school veterans, football veterans come in and make up the panel? That would be pretty cool.
That would be cool. I could get into that.
Yeah. There's a way they can fix it. I just think that they're just happy with the way that it is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they don't think it's broken enough to worry about it, and they're probably right. Like nobody seems to really care. So.
No, and I get it. I mean, but I do like to see the people that actually, legitimately, I think should earn that, and they don't. But then again, I know that's my perspective, so it is what it is.
No. I get it because again, I would have picked T.J. Watt for that award,
and I don't even like the Steelers, but I do like what T.J. Watt is doing out there, and he is impressive with it. I mean, it's
especially
crazy
when you figure that defense really runs through him because when he was on the field, their defense didn't play.
I'm really hoping, and I do think it's going to happen that Micah Parsons, as he continues to develop his game, will be where TJ Watt is, because I think Micah's on a good track for that. As long as he can stay healthy and not get hurt, I really think he's on track for that.
No, I agree with you there. Absolutely.
Hopefully, but I got to imagine at some point, is Jerry going to pay him? At some point, when he gets off this rookie contract, that's what scares me because I think Jerry's going to, oh, you want XYZ? Well, I don't typically pay XYZ to linebackers, so we're going to have, if he does that, and that's another thing I hate about Jerry. Jerry, pay these damn people. You got money? Damn, pay these people. Pay the right people. Don't pay the wrong people.
He only pays splash players. That's what he pays.
I know.
That's what he has. It's the shiny object out there, not the workhorses.
And unfortunate that is exactly true though.
Yeah. So what did you think about Flacco winning comeback player of the year?
I was happy about that.
Yeah.
No offense to DeMar Hamlin. Hey, DeMar, man, we all understand your situation, and I don't want to come off as being insensitive to what he had to overcome.
Sure.
But
he didn't play a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to give him man of the year or something like that, I don't know. Some of the one way to honor him, that's perfect, and I'd be all about it. But when we're talking about comeback player of the year, that means you got on that field, you did something spectacular that people had basically given up on you, and you're out there doing it. And that was Flacco, all the way Flacco.
So you think what he did was spectacular?
Yeah, I mean, consider it. I mean, I don't. What's his age again? Is he 38?
Yeah, something like that. But I
Okay, so
mean,
you're a 38-year-old man. You
so he
probably
played
got,
6 games. He played six
yeah,
games, right?
right.
And a 14-9 touchdown to interception ratio. So that's not great.
It's not great, okay, but then I mean, you can also say that for some of the pros out there that played on a day in and day out basis. Let's put it this way: Mahomes didn't have that great numbers, did he? But yet we still praise the hell out of Mahomes. I'm just trying to say the man hasn't played football at a competitive level, and God knows how long. He's probably
Well,
sitting on the couch,
it was last.
eating
It was last
Triscuits.
year. It was last year because he played with the Jets.
No. He
So
sat on the
honestly,
bench.
so
He
that's
sat on the damn bench. He went out there playing. You know that.
that's what he came back from. Actually, was playing with the Jets. That was his comeback story. He's
Well,
like,
and even that in and of itself is a valid reason.
yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's probably why Geno got it, right? He was drafted by the Jets.
Yeah, you survived the Jets and you came back. But I mean, the guy, he did well. It's not his fault the team didn't go all the way. Okay.
Well, he did okay, right? Like his QBR was a 90, so it's not like it was awesome, right? Like it's okay.
Right.
He did average 320 yards a game, though. So I mean that's solid.
Remember, this is comeback player of the year, not oh my God, he's top 5.
Oh, he's definitely not that. No, definitely not
what
that.
I'm saying? I mean, this dude literally rose up from the dead and didn't stink it up too bad. I mean, he did okay. He did well. He kept them in contention. Let's put it.
Yeah, see, and that's where I'm like, I don't know. I always have a hard time with this.
I mean, who are the other ones? DeMar Hamlin. Okay, he didn't do nothing. But
no, I know it was, and that's the thing is he didn't come back and actually play, right? Like he had such limited game time, which is why I figured he probably, if he didn't win, it's because of that, right?
Right.
And yeah, the other ones that were available, Flacco was the best one. So I mean, it's not.
That's what I'm saying. He's the best out of what you had.
I know, but again, they're going to award the award. I get it, but when you're looking at it, you're just like, like.
Hey, Flacco, you don't got to take this from a semi-pro guy, okay? You don't got to take this. I'm going to defend you.
I don't feel like he's worried about my opinion at all.
Listen, that man's over there probably right now, counting his Benjamins in his bank account. He don't care.
All things being equal, I did play pro arena ball.
Bo's so mad. He gets so mad. He's hurt. You know what, though, Bo? He does have a Super Bowl ring.
He does.
He actually wears it on the hand and not on the little necklace tucked into his shirt. So, hey, as much crap as we give Flacco, that dude's over there like, you know what, man, this ring looks really nice.
He's got a ring.
This ring looks pretty damn nice.
And that being said, that playoff run, he balled out.
Yeah.
So, like, he played incredibly well on that playoff run. So, yeah. But, and I mean, realistically, 320 yards a game isn't bad. Like that's solid.
And he got paid what? I think it was so much money per playoff win that he didn't get to the playoffs. So he didn't get to. I think his total contract value was 4 if he got all the incentives. But I bet you he got around $3 million though. I bet you he got $3 million out of that 4.
Well, no, he got. So he did get to the wild card round. He didn't win.
Hey, Wardell, I believe you're a Seahawks person, right? Well, I better have Flacco than Geno. Why is all they like? You got a great quarterback. You got Geno freaking Smith. Okay, he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay.
You got a great quarterback over there. Come on.
Yeah, no, Geno's decent. I mean, Dak is decent. He just
look. If you got first, second, third tiers, if you want to break it down that direction, man, Dak's probably like third tier.
No, I agree. I was actually going to say
he's in between third and second tier.
Yeah. No, I would say that a guy like Geno could do basically what Dak has done with the Cowboys. With as much talent as that team has had and the defense that it had, he probably could have done very similar stuff. So
Geno had everything he needed. He got 3 great wide receivers, decent tight end, and a decent running back, and a halfway decent offensive line. He had everything he needed to be successful.
No, exactly. And so that's why I say, like, Dak is, he's okay, right? Like there's
Yeah.
nothing. He really is Romo, right? I mean,
I
statistically,
mean, if that's it, yeah. I mean, I Romo obviously wasn't about as good of a broadcaster as he is a quarterback. I mean,
well, I
you
mean, the
know?
thing with Romo is he did the same stuff. Is he was good, and then the playoffs came, and it just for whatever reason it falls apart. Um, and then when you look at their careers side by side, you're like, okay, they both have, you know, one or two playoff wins, right? Like not just for whatever
Right.
reason, their careers really mirror each other.
Well, they do. Honestly, and it is what it is, man. Like Dak, he's not a gap field quarterback. He's
No,
a franchise quarterback, but he's not
yeah,
top tier franchise. I mean,
no, like he's every bit of a franchise quarterback. He's just not an elite quarterback.
but it always
And
tells me like these guys, like the market dictates their money, not their talent. I mean, if you're like,
100%. Yeah.
a better than 500 quarterback, you're probably gonna get paid the quan.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. They, for whatever reason, when it comes to quarterback pay, if you're the franchise guy, it resets every time.
Right. Like
I don't know
literally.
why. Like it shouldn't, but it does.
Right. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, like Lamar Jackson, his contract's better than Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I understand Patrick Mahomes got, but because Patrick Mahomes on a 10-year, what, 500 million, I think is what he got. But
Yeah, I
if you
think
break
they
it down, if you
actually
break it
restructured
down,
that. I
I'm
think
gonna
they
say,
restructured that
did it
last year.
restructure? So he got more money or
Yeah,
less?
but
Okay.
I think he has more money sooner.
Okay.
Um, let's see, signed a 10-year, 450 mil.
Was it 450? I thought it was 500. Was it 450?
Yeah, well, that's what this is saying.
Okay.
That's
But
basically.
but with their endorsements, that dude's loaded all the way
Oh
around.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're not.
Man, I can't. I mean, every time I turn around, I see, Mahomes in a commercial. Every time I turn around, it's like left and right, left and right.
Yeah, let's see. We got restructured contract, new deal, 210. Let's see. Yeah, so 52.65 million. So
That's what we're getting a year, 52.
that's what it'll wrap up at. So
Okay.
yeah, so the restructure would have him getting um let's see. His cap hit will be 44, then 46, 42, 60, 44, 44, 50, 52. That interesting.
Did he make 60 million at one point?
Yeah, 2027, which honestly, 2027, that'll probably be almost what they are at that point.
You're right. I mean, with the trajectory that it's going right now, you're right. I mean, we are, and that was my question. At what point does this insanity stop, or does it ever stop? I mean, are we going to start seeing $1 billion contracts when our kids are our age? With these guys be making $1 billion contracts instead of hundreds of millions. Now we're talking 20s and 30 billions and stuff. I
I
mean,
mean, the way that you are seeing it happen in baseball, you're getting close,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
With Otani getting 700. So, I mean, it's entirely possible. I don't think you'll quite get there. Um, I think you're actually kind of seeing about, you're probably about 10 years from the top of where this league will be.
right.
And the reason I say that is the demo isn't changing is the problem. Um, like our age group, around our age group and older are who watch the sport. The kids are more likely to watch someone playing Madden than actually watching the game.
Right.
And so I think you're actually seeing kind of the end of the biggest high for this league. Now it's still going to be wildly popular, probably still the most popular sport. So I'm not saying that it's going to drop off or anything, but I'm saying you're looking at it as you are nearing a plateau of where they can grow, which is why
Yeah,
they're putting so many more games in foreign countries and really exploring
absolutely.
the European division, stuff like that, is because domestically, you're about as saturated as you can be.
Because you got to figure. Look, I understand that as much money as the NFL makes, but even they have to have a threshold where player contracts are more than what they're bringing in.
No, because
And I might be
advertising.
wrong on that. I mean, I'm
No, no,
not a
no.
financial guy, so I might be wrong.
Advertising dollars wise,
Yeah.
there's no way. I mean, so
Okay.
prime example of that. If you're looking at the Super Bowl this year, a 30-second ad is $7 million.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's one game, right? And you know how many commercials are going to be in that game, and those are
A lot.
$7 a pop for 30 seconds.
Damn. Could you
Exactly.
imagine that? Ah.
So I mean, they basically print money. So I mean, that's not the issue. What it is, at some point you're going to hit the top of where it is you can go, and unless there's some
Right.
big resurgence in viewership with younger demos, that's where you're going to see the league kind of plateau out.
Well, I tell you what, man, it pays well to be an athlete, don't it? Even if you're bottom rung, you're
Sure.
still getting paid a lot of damn money.
Yeah, if you can get that NFL crest, absolutely. Although you really kind of have to get off your rookie deal.
You do. You're
So
right.
I mean, you can't go in, be there for a year, and get out. That's not enough money to change your life, really. But if you can get in and get through that rookie deal,
Right.
that's where the money actually is.
Yeah, it's always in that
legitimate
second
money.
contract, especially if you ball out.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, 'cause
take
I mean,
Michael Parsons, for example. Like, his rookie contract probably wasn't that much, but now that he's obviously done as well as he's done, he's going to want that money. And there's going to be teams out there that will absolutely give him top shelf money.
Yeah.
If Jerry doesn't want to do it. Which I think
absolutely.
Jerry would be completely stupid if he doesn't give him the money. But.
No, I'm with you. I'm trying to see exactly what the rookie deal is. I think it's like $600K.
Oh, I'm sure that's probably what it was, $500,000 or so.
Yeah, but when you figure you're paying taxes in every state you play in, right? You you got to have financial guys, you got to have accountants. I mean, you actually use a lot of money playing,
right?
So, yeah. I mean,
and are you saying that you lose a lot of money? Are you talking about from the player perspective?
Yeah.
Is that like just due to like hospital bills or stuff like that, like when you get hurt or agents? Are you talking about the agents that you got to pay and things like
exactly.
that? I mean, like
you have agents, and there's actually a lot of kind of different overhead that you don't encounter as a normal person. I mean, so because you basically have to have a full-time accountant, right? Because usually how stuff like that works is like if you're playing, you got to pay taxes in every city you play in because that's where you earn the money, right? So I mean, there's now your yearly taxes, stuff like that has to do with the state you live in. But when you earn in a specific location, a lot of times you got to pay taxes in that location. So and then minimum is 705. Now, not to say that that's not a lot of money. That's still a ton of money, but that's not necessarily life changing, right? If you only play a year or two.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. And then you got to figure all the nutritional supplements that they put in there, or all that stuff that the food they're dieting and all that kind of stuff and all those kinds of people. That stuff adds up too.
Yeah, right. Like if you have your own nutritionist, stuff like that, like you got
your own personal trainer, or some of these guys have trainers. What they say, I think at some point they were saying like LeBron puts about $1 million a year into his body.
Yeah, about $1 million to $1.5 million every year. Yeah.
So I can see what you're saying, where it can get expensive.
For sure.
But with LeBron money though, $1 million.
No, well, and that's the thing is, once you get into those second contracts, or if you're elite, then yeah, you're getting crazy money at that point.
Oh yeah.
But because then you're also getting endorsement deals, and I mean, People are just handing you cash.
Yeah, and you gotta constantly look for tax brackets because once you get to a certain income level,
Yep.
Obviously those taxes are be killers. So you gotta start finding places to hide your money, and
Yep.
yeah, it's crazy. I always go back to that one Jerry Maguire. People understand the pressures of $54 million carries with it.
I mean, there is some of that. There is some of that.
People understand the pressures.
I mean, I want to find out.
Hey, I would love to find out.
Right?
All I need is, I don't need nothing. Just give me an accountant. Don't give me that crazy. All I'm going to do is pay for my accountant. I'm good. Let him do his job. Let him find my tax shelters, and we're good. But then you got to make sure he invests in the right stuff because they can lose money too. They can lose you money too if you're not careful.
For sure.
It's the thing about the stock market, boy. It can be volatile.
Well, it's funny. I always laugh because, people will always throw that the old adage, money can't buy happiness. It also can't? Being broke.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, literally, go down to some of these tent cities and stuff and see how happy they are. They might be loaded, but
I mean, yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. I look at it this way. I would rather, if I had the choice, I'd rather cry in my Escalade than in a Honda.
Hell. Honda.
Right?
Yeah, that's pretty good living. What's wrong with the Honda? I like a Honda. It's a pretty good car.
I mean, if you're going to be depressed in both, you might as well be comfortable,
No,
right?
I know. I just didn't want to alienate our viewers who may be out there driving Hondas right now because as soon as, that whole mental health thing, man, I got to keep everybody pumped up, Bo. Come on.
Oh, no, I'm just saying if you have the option of the two.
No, did you just hear what Bo said? Bo said a Honda's a horrible car. I got a Honda.
I mean, they didn't hear any of it. I've been dropping out since the beginning. They're not still watching anyway.
Hey, by the way, Honda, we will totally be accepting of endorsing you if the money is
right.
Do not let the opinions of Bo detract you.
That's right. Allegedly, people might be happier in their Cadillac instead of a Honda. We don't know. Just allegedly, we'll put it out there. Don't sue the show.
Hey, don't worry, man. Pag's gonna have to have a conversation with you. You might get a side discussion.
Now it'd be from Mac though.
Oh God, that'd even be worse. Mac just looks like that kind of guy. Like Mac be cool, quiet, calm, and chill. But you say the wrong thing, I think Mac be on your ass.
Well, if he does it today, it'll be great because my connection would drop out anyway.
That's it. If I told your ass once, Bo, I done told you twice. Now lean over the bed. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt me worse than it's gonna hurt you.
Except he'd be yelling and it'd just be a buffering wheel. I wouldn't even be there. At that point, I'd be making a sandwich. I would have gave up.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Sweet Jesus.
Oh, man.
What do you think about this NBA trade? I know we only got a few minutes left, but I wanted to get your thoughts. What team do you think, Bo? What team do you think did the best?
I don't think anybody really moved the needle this time.
I don't think so either.
Like some guys moved around, but I don't think anybody got noticeably better. Yeah. Like I think everything was more or less, hey, let's get some stuff. Let's get some stuff off of. Let's get some stuff off the roster. That's it.
Right. I saw a lot of Buddy Hield type of contracts out there.
Yeah,
that was all about moving pieces to get rid of money or this, that, or the other.
Yeah, I mean that's really all it looked like because nobody got better, right?
No.
Like you look at a couple of them and you're like, okay, like maybe they'll be better.
Yeah.
But that's as far as I got. Did you see the new? Do you see the new Kobe Bryant statue got rolled out?
That was pretty dope.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I liked it. I thought and I don't know who designed it, but I thought they did a hell of a good job with that, man. I think if Kobe was here, he would be beside himself with it. I really do.
No, it was good, and then it sounded like it was a process that maybe he knew about before he passed away anyway. So,
I'm sure there had to have been something talked about, right? You would think. I would think anyway.
You would think so, yeah. So, and then they went with the number 8 on it. So,
Yeah, and I'm glad that they did that. I wasn't sure what they were going to do, but I'm glad they went with number 8.
Yeah, I was
That's
curious.
just who he's always been. The 42 or whatever, 24. I mean, that kind of came towards the end of his career, so I didn't really.
You know,
I
I
mean,
mean,
he was Kobe
it
with
was like
that 8.
halfway. It was like halfway through.
Was it halfway? Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, he played with 24 a long time.
I mean, they had like what 3 statues? It wasn't just one. Didn't they do like 3 statues?
No, they had different poses that were options.
Okay. Okay.
And so this was the pose. It sounds like maybe he had selected.
Okay.
So it sounds like maybe
Well,
he
if
was
he
actually.
selected it, then that just tells you right there that there had to have been discussions.
No,
about it.
exactly. At least that's the way it sounded from what Vanessa Bryant, I think is her.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
Uh,
Vanessa. That's his wife. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So when she was up presenting, it sounded like it was the one that he selected. So
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 that, then
that's
that
pretty cool.
definitely tells you he had to select. I bet he selected the number 8 then as well instead of the other number.
That'd be my guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, either way, man. I mean, they definitely did a great job honoring him, and
Mhm.
wow, it was nice. It was nice.
Yeah. No, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
And it's sad that Kobe's gone. I missed. I hated Kobe when he was playing in the league because that guy was just a killer at it. But man, what a great human being.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
You know?
No, that was just a terrible situation overall. But I mean, you still see the effect of him, around the league, certainly in business endeavors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As far as the mentality he took in and out of everything he did. So, yeah, no, it's definitely a terrible situation how he passed away, but very cool rolling out the statue.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another reason why I take cars. I mean, I'll fly if I have to, but I don't trust any of that stuff. I'm the kind of guy. If I can, I would take a bus, a train, or a car.
Yeah, I mean,
but I know that's unrealistic in some cases. But man,
well, yeah, of course. But I mean, in that one's case, it was his private pilot for his chopper flying into dense fog. Like that wasn't exactly a smart decision.
Yeah, I think that pilot should have said, "Yo, Kobe, man, we're not making this one. We're turning around, going back."
Yeah.
I mean, and even though Kobe was mad about it, I mean, at least he'd be alive and having the ability to be upset about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that's one of those hindsight's 2020, right? Like, obviously, if he'd known the outcome, probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, absolutely. And I know. I mean, because sometimes hey, we got to get here, we got to be here, and people are sometimes that pressure of time to be someplace. Sometimes that overrides, what we should be doing. Yeah, being smart, and I mean, we don't know what was said in that cockpit. We don't know what's said between Kobe and the pilot, or what pressures were being put. You don't know anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. But I do know that sometimes, I think, and I do this myself. I let time run things rather than like level-headedness and decision making.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes events get missed. I mean, and you're always mad about it, right? Because when you plan stuff, you generally expect yourself to be able to make it happen. But there's definitely been times where it's just like, things don't go the way you want it to, and you're like, okay, well, if I really haul ass, I can get there. And then and then you get a ticket or something dumb, or and it's just like, okay, no matter what I do. So now as I get older, I'm just like, yeah, I'll try and make it so that I can leave when I can, and then I get there when I get there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can control what I control. If I left on time and I'm late, is what it is.
Yeah, no, seriously, because I will tell you, I've done that too, and now wisdom has taught me that it doesn't really matter, Jay. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
just do it I mean, but I had to get older to really understand that lesson. That was a hard lesson.
Well, yeah, you usually have to learn it a couple of times.
Oh God, man, you don't know how many the stove is hot conversations I've had.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right.
Oh man. I'm excited about Super Bowl this weekend, actually. As
Yeah,
it
me
gets
too.
closer, I'm kind of excited. A little sad to see the end of the season, but I
I'm
think I
curious to
think
see
it'll be a
how
good one.
well I do on that sheet that we did the other day.
Yeah, man. I
I'm
don't
gonna be
know
curious
how.
to see how close I come.
Yeah, there was a few of them that I took the long shot. So we'll see.
Yeah, there was definitely a few. Let's just hope we do better than Pags. Nobody wants that guy to win. Nobody wants that guy to win.
I didn't think about it from that end. There's a couple of them I probably should have picked differently.
Because hey, once he wins, man, it's gonna be. We might as well just do a show just called Pags. Not even coast to coast. It's just Pags. Welcome to Pags. We all got shirts on that says Pags.
Pretty much. Good stuff, man. Well, right on. That brings us to the end, man. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the games. You doing anything fun for them?
No, I'm gonna sit right here at the house and chill, eat some food. Typical, sports food. Probably some wings. I'm probably gonna eat wings. To be
Nice.
honest, with you. I'm gonna have me a nice thing of wings, and
Nice.
we're gonna call it good, man. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be at Buffalo Wild Wings. There's a shameless plug.
No, I'm not. I'm going to
Oh,
I'm going to my buddy Neil's house. But he basically has a theater downstairs, right? So he has a full on movie screen down there,
oh, damn.
and some like stadium seating and pool table and stuff. So it's a good place to watch a game.
Oh, hell yeah! And the liquor's cheaper.
And I probably won't go to Wings. I might pick up some wings and bring them with us.
Yeah, don't show up empty-handed. That's a terrible guess. You better show up with something.
Oh, we'll definitely show up with something, but I haven't decided what. Like, I know we're going to bring a dessert item, but he actually runs a barbecue business. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, so we're probably going to have some smoked meats and stuff there. So I mean,
Oh, hell yeah.
So it'll probably be like maybe I'll grab some wings to complement that. I don't know. We'll see.
He better give you some beef. If he pulls out that pulled pork crap, you just tell him.
Oh no, we'll do a brisket or something. I'm sure.
That's the one thing about down in the east, the southeast side, man. They all do that pulled pork mess. I never really got into the pulled pork, but whatever.
Yeah, it depends on how you season it. Like it can be pulled pork.
But it has so much fat in it. Like you ever seen how much fat is in pulled pork?
Oh yeah,
a lot of fat.
Yeah,
That's why I like brisket though, because the brisket doesn't have all the fat.
Well, you trim it. Like if you when you buy a brisket, it does have some pretty thick fat layers, but you kind of thinly, because I smoke it a lot too. You kind of trim that off. You actually still leave a little bit of a layer because that'll cook off during the process.
Right. Yeah, but you don't want it to be dry. You want to keep a little bit on there. You'll render it off when you cook.
And you got to be patient, right? Like it's that's a 14-hour cook.
Yeah, that's on the low end because you got marinade time, and then if you got smoke time, I mean.
Oh, I just mean actually just in the smoker.
Oh yeah. No, it's you're not eating it that same day.
No, definitely not.
Well, all right, man.
Right on. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
I'll be good.
Missed the button. Man, it's just been a day.